My grandmother, bless her soul, had a saying, some people are so busy chasing what they don't have, they forget to take care of what they do. I, 34, male, learned the hard way, just how right she was. My wife, Jolene, 32, discovered this truth for herself at the most humiliating of times. It all started 3 weeks before Thanksgiving. My grandmother had passed away in September, leaving me a substantial inheritance. It wasn't quit my job and retire money, but it was enough to make a real difference, on 85,000. For us, that was enough to pay off the last of our student loans and finally start the kitchen renovation we'd been dreaming of for years. The plan was to be debt-free and have a brand new kitchen by the time we were ready to start a family. I had been traveling for work during the estate settlement, so Jolene, with her being a stay-at-home freelance graphic designer, had taken on the responsibility of managing the paperwork. I had given her power of attorney specifically for this purpose, a sign of my complete trust in her, after 7 years of marriage. She was the only person I would have ever trusted with something like this. I came home from a business trip on a Tuesday afternoon. As I pulled into the driveway, I saw a sight that made a cold knot form in my stomachs. Jolene's brother, Vaughn's truck. Vaughn, all 6'3" of him, with his perpetual grin, was standing in our kitchen with Jolene. Champagne glasses were already out. Babe, perfect timing. Jolene beamed, her eyes sparkling. We're celebrating. I forced a smile. Celebrating what? Did we win the lottery? Vaughn slapped my shoulder with a booming laugh. Better, bro. Your wife just saved my business. True family loyalty. The knot in my stomach tightened. How'd she do that? I asked, my voice a little too steady. Jolene came over and touched my arm. The inheritance came through last week, Reed. Vaughns' construction company was about to go under. They were going to foreclose on his house, Reed. His kids would have been homeless. Her voice dropped to a conspiratorial whisper. So I signed it over to him. Family helps family. Right? I stood there trying to process her words. My grandmother's money, my inheritance, our future plans, gone, all of it. You signed it over. I'd asked, just to be sure. Well, he needed 80,000 to clear the debts. We kept 5 for us, for the renovation fund. How thoughtful, I said, and went along with it for a while. Vaughn, oblivious to the fact that I just had the financial equivalent of a heart attack, clapped my shoulder again. I knew you'd understand, bro. Jolene said you're good people. Hey, I'll pay you back when the company recovers. Promise. They kept talking, but their words faded into a distant hum. All I could see was the memory of my grandmother, her kind eyes, her gentle smile. This money was meant to honor her memory, to build a future that she would have been proud of, and Jolene had just given it away. To Vaughn, a man I'd never liked, and a man whose constant financial struggles were a running joke in their family. I excused myself, went to my office, and pulled up our banking records. There it was. An 85,000 deposit followed by an immediate wire transfer to Vaughn's account. The paperwork was all there, signed and sealed. That night, after Vaughn left, I asked Jolene one question. Did you think about asking me first? She actually looked confused. Why would I need to? We're married, Reed. What's yours is mine. And Vaughn is family. You wouldn't have let him lose everything, right? That wasn't your call to make. God, don't be selfish, she said, her voice rising. It's just money. We're doing fine. I didn't argue. I just nodded and went to bed. But here's the thing about Vaughn. I'd never liked him. 7 years of watching him show up with sob stories, asking Jolene for money. His business was always about to turn the corner. His kids were always one step from disaster. But somehow, he always had a new truck, always took vacations, and always had the latest everything. So, I did some digging. The paper trail of y'all were right. The digging paid off in ways I didn't expect. The next morning, I hired a private investigator. It cost me $2,000, but it was worth every penny. Vaughn's construction company wasn't about to go under. It was actually doing quite well. He'd landed 2 major contracts last month. The foreclosure story, a complete fabrication. He owned his house outright, inherited it from his wife's parents 3 years ago. But the real gold came from an unexpected source, Vaughn's ex-business partner, Donnie. I bought Donnie a beer at his regular bar and just listened. Man's been pulling this scam on Jolene for years. Donnie said after his 3rd beer. Laughs about it all the time. Calls her his personal ATM. You should hear the things he says. Like what? I asked, trying to keep my voice from shaking. Like how she's too stupid to realize he's got money. How she believes every sob story. He literally has a notebook where he tracks what he's gotten from her. Treats it like a game. Donnie's face was grim. After what he did to me, I'd be willing to state that on record, but Donnie had something even better. Voicemails. Vaughn, drunk, dialing him, bragging about his latest score from his Hootiot sister. The best one was from just last month. Vaughn's drunk voice. Donnie, bro. You're not gonna believe this. Jolene's husband's grandma kicked it. Left him like 80K. I'm about to get paid. Already planted the foreclosure story. My dumb sister's gonna hand it all over. She actually thinks I'm broke. Woman's seen my house, seen my truck, and still believes I'm struggling. It's like taking candy from a retarded baby. Easiest money I've ever made. Donnie forwarded me everything, 18 voicemails over 2 years, each one worse than the last. He'd been stealing from Jolene for years, and she had no idea. Meanwhile, Jolene was planning Thanksgiving. Big family gathering at our house. Vaughn would be there with his wife and kids. Her parents. The whole circus. You sure you're okay with hosting? She asked. You've been weird since the inheritance thing. I'm fine, I said, managing a smile. Actually, I want to make a toast this year. She looked surprised. Really? You hate public speaking. This is important, I said. She kissed my cheek. You're the best. And hey, Vaughn said he might have some cash to start paying us back by Christmas. How thoughtful of him. I said nothing. Just smiled and went back to my laptop, where I was transcribing every one of Vaughn's voicemails. The unraveling, the entitlement escalated fast once Jolene realized I wasn't my usual accommodating self. First, she tried to love bomb me. Cooked my favorite meals, initiated intimacy every night, kept telling me how amazing I was for supporting family. But when I stayed distant, she switched tactics. You're being childish about the money, she said Tuesday night. Vaughn already told everyone how generous we were. You're going to make me look bad if you keep pouting. I'm not pouting. Then why won't you talk to him? He's called 3 times. I'm busy. With what? Your little investigation. Her voice was laced with anger. Yeah, I know you hired someone to look into my brother. That's psychotic, Reed. Is it? Or is finding out the truth just inconvenient for you? He's family! What is wrong with you? She exploded. When we got married, my family became your family. And my inheritance became his, apparently, I said. It was the right thing to do. According to who? She grabbed her pillow. I'm sleeping in the guest room, until you get over yourself. But the real entitlement showed Wednesday. I came home to find she'd invited Vaughan over. They were in my office, going through my grandmother's photos. What are you doing? I asked, my voice dangerously low. Vaughn looked up casually. Joe said there might be more assets, jewelry and stuff. Thought we should document it for the estate. The estate settled. Yeah, but sometimes things pop up later. He said, holding up my grandmother's photo album. Nice old lady. Bet she had some valuable stuff hidden away. The audacity. He was treasure hunting through my dead grandmother's memories. I stared at him, then at Jolene, who looked nervous. Get out, I said. Reed, come on, Jolene started. Get out. Vaughn stood slowly, smirking. Chill, bro, just trying to help you find assets you might have missed. So you can steal those too. His face darkened. Watch yourself. I'd hate for this to affect our family dynamics, especially with the holidays coming up. After he left, Jolene went nuclear. You just humiliated me. He was trying to help himself to more of my money. It's not just your money, we're married. And, you know what? If you can't appreciate family, maybe we shouldn't beer. Maybe we shouldn't. She stormed off, but not before sending a group text to her entire family about how I was being controlling about money and treating Vaughn like a criminal. Her mom called within minutes, screeching about how I was tearing the family apart. Her dad texted, very disappointed in you, son. Even Vaughn's wife, Celia, chimed in. Reed, whatever issues you have, don't punish the children by creating family drama. The narrative was set. I was the villain who wouldn't help family. Perfect. Thanksgiving dinner. Thanksgiving arrived. Jolene had been staying with her parents but came back that morning to prep. She gave me the silent treatment, but she had appearances to maintain. 23 people showed up. Vaughn arrived in a brand new truck. Not even subtle. He made a big show of hugging me. No hard feelings, right, bro? Family's family. Absolutely, I said. No hard feelings. Dinner was perfect. Jolene's mom, Joyce, kept making passive-aggressive comments about family loyalty and remembering what matters. Her dad, Eugene, just glared at me. Vaughn told the whole table about his business struggles and how blessed he was to have a sister like Jolene. Almost lost everything, he said, fake tearing up. Kids would have been on the street, but Joe came through. That's what real family does. Everyone was looking at me like I was Satan for not being grateful enough. Then dessert came out, and I stood up. Before we continue, I'd like to make a toast. Jolene looked surprised but pleased. Finally, I was playing along. This year, I'm thankful for truth, I began, for clarity, for learning who people really are. Vaughn raised his glass, grinning. I'm thankful for technology, for voicemails that reveal character, for recordings that capture honesty. His grin faltered slightly. But mostly, I'm thankful for Donnie Fletcher, Vaughn's former business partner. Vaughn's face went white. Vaughn, you remember calling him last month, after you heard about my grandmother passing. I pulled out my phone, connected it to our Bluetooth speaker. Let me refresh your memory. I hit play. Vaughn's drunk voice filled the room. Vaughn. Donnie. Bro, you're not gonna believe this. Jolene's husband's grandma kicked it. Left him like 80K. I'm about to get paid. Already planted the foreclosure story. My dumb sister's gonna hand it all over. She actually thinks I'm broke. Woman's seen my house, seen my truck, and still believes I'm struggling. It's like taking candy from a retarded baby. Easiest money I've ever made. The room went silent. Jolene's face was frozen, mouth open. That's not. Vaughn stammered. Wait, there's more. I played the next one. Vaughn. Dude, my sister is literally the stupidest person alive. Gave me 12 grand last year for medical bills. I used it for that Cabo trip. Remember those Instagram models we met? That was Joe's money. She probably cried about not affording vacation while I was doing body shots. Joyce gasped. Eugene's face turned purple. Should I keep going? I have 16 more. I pulled out a manila folder. Because I also have bank records showing your company's been profitable for 3 years. Your mortgage documents showing you own your house outright. And my personal favorite, your social media posts from luxury resorts, while you were supposedly struggling. I passed copies around the table. Celia was staring at Vaughn like she'd never seen him before. You said we couldn't afford dance classes for Emma. Baby, I can explain. You, son of a bitch! Eugene stood up, fists clenched. You've been stealing from my daughter. Dad, it wasn't stealing. Like hell, it wasn't. Jolene finally spoke, her voice tiny. How long? I pulled out Donnie's notebook. Yes, he'd kept Vaughn's actual notebook. According to this, 7 years, total of $186,000, not counting my inheritance. She ran to the bathroom. We could all hear her throwing up. Vaughn tried to leave. But Eugene blocked him. You're paying every cent back. I don't have. Sell the truck. Sell the toys. Sell everything. The kids were crying. Celia was packing up their stuff, telling Vaughn not to follow her. Joyce was having some kind of breakdown, wailing about, how could you do this to your sister? But the best part, Vaughn's oldest kid, Aiden, 16, stood up. Is that why you made us lie to Aunt Jo about being poor? Is that why you told us to act sad when she visited? The room went even quieter. You made your kids lie. Eugene looked ready to commit murder. Vaughn just stood there, caught. No more lies to tell. The aftermath was swift and brutal. Jolene found out the full extent of Vaughn's con. He'd been taking money from her since before we got married. Every emergency was fake. Every crisis was manufactured. He'd even lied about his wife having cancer 2 years ago and got $20K for treatment. The Celia filed for divorce the Monday after Thanksgiving. She got everything in the divorce. And Vaughn wasn't fighting it because she threatened to press charges for fraud. Eugene and Joyce disowned him. Joyce needed therapy after realizing she'd enabled this for years, always pushing Jolene to help her brother. Eugene tried to pay me back the inheritance, but I told him to put it in a trust for Vaughn's kids instead. They didn't deserve to suffer for their father's actions. As for Jolene and me, she moved back to her parents' house the day after Thanksgiving. The divorce papers were filed last Tuesday. She didn't fight anything. I kept the house, the cars, everything. She was too broken to care. She sent me one long text yesterday. I know you'll never forgive me, and I don't deserve it. I gave away your grandmother's last gift to you. I chose my brother over my husband. I called you selfish for wanting to keep your money. I was so convinced. Family helps family. Meant everything that I forgot you were my family too. The primary family I chose when I married you. Vaughn played me for a fool, but I let him. I saw the signs and ignored them because I wanted to be the good sister, the loyal sister, the one who saved everyone. I lost everything that mattered for someone who saw me as an ATM. I'm so sorry, Reed. I know it doesn't matter now, but I'm so sorry. I replied, I know. Take care of yourself, Jolene. And that was it. 7 years of marriage, gone because she thought family helps family, meant letting her brother rob us blind. Vaughn, he's living in his car. His business partners dropped him. Last I heard, he was begging Donnie to take him back. Donnie laughed and hung up. He tried calling me once, left a voicemail. You destroyed my life over money. Hope you're happy. I didn't respond, but yeah, I am. Not happy my marriage ended, but happy the truth came out. Happy those kids won't grow up thinking scamming family is normal. Happy Jolene finally sees who her brother really is, even if it costs us everything. My grandmother always said, when people show you who they are, believe them. Vaughn showed us. Jolene showed me. And at that Thanksgiving dinner, I showed them all exactly who I am too. Someone who won't be played for a fool even by family. The inheritance. I got $78,000 back. Vaughn had already blown through $7,000 on his new truck's down payment. The truck that got repossessed last week. Karma's beautiful sometimes.